not so sure.
And if numbers could speak a language, they would probably tell us that this is all SPT. Looking at the KDA, looking at the kills on average per game underneath. The only thing that they're behind, and that is a good thing, is deaths on average per game, which we saw on the bottom here. But yeah, RPG choosing the first battleground, and they're taking their opponents to Sky Temple, which is a battleground that SPT is not really picking all that often. And once again, for those of you who are confused by all those grayed out maps, basically round 1 and round 2 all go into the currently existing map pool. And as such, we have 4 maps being taken out because the previously played maps in round 2 are no longer available anymore.
Which is wonderful because, as you have said before, it gives us map diversity.
Yes.
Which is exactly what we want to see. Now then, SPT taking the first ban here. Let's have a look. I'm going to have a quick peek at what SPT's Sky Temple win rate is. I assume pretty positive, but once again, like you mentioned, it's a map they don't go to that often.
Exactly. Normally when it's up to SPT, they're taking their opponents to maps like Battlefield of Eternity or Dragonshire, which is still a very, very good battleground for them. And they end up banning the Phoenix, by the way. It looks like they don't want to have anything to do with the new hero. Could be for 2 reasons. A, they don't have anyone playing it super well up to this point. Or B, they just are a little afraid of facing it onto the enemy team, and they want to prioritize other heroes, like the Medivh, for example. So Medivh proving to be the absolute powerhouse as of late, not just in China, but all across the globe. His Arcade Explosion build with Circle of Protection is still mighty strong even after receiving several nerfs. And since we're probably not playing live patch, we haven't really received any confirmation, but we will just assume that it's Phoenix release patch. The Circle of Protection hasn't been fully nerfed yet, if I recall correctly.
If it's not patched, like Circle of Protection was nerfed, yeah, it was just shortly. No, it was just before.
No, that was the
Phoenix
balance
release
update
patch.
that was released a few days ago, I think. Or was it?
Okay, I'll trust you because it was at the same time as Tracer's original change. He got nerfed a little bit.
Yeah, but now that I think of it, I think I remember watching EU yesterday, and I don't know which game it was, but Medivh didn't go for Circle of Protection level 13. So maybe we're going to see the cooldown reduction.
Sure, we are on the point where it has been changed.
Yeah. Anyways,
same with Tracer, I think.
There were multiple nerfs, of course, happening to Medivh's. The most impactful one happening recently with Circle of Protection now basically having a longer cooldown on the shield as well, which is why we oftentimes see the cooldown reduction talent at level 13. So yeah, keep an eye out for Medivh. He's still damn powerful, especially combined with Malfurion and Tracer. It's going to be so hard already for RPG to really shut down that Tracer with both Malfurion heals and Medivh shields landing on it.
So, with... yeah, as Tracer's going to be tough. As long as they have a solid front line, I feel already pretty good about this SPT draft. Also, I have checked maps now. Apparently Sky Temple is their 3rd most picked map this season for SPT. It is also one of their highest win rates, so 60% win rate. 3 out of their 5 games they have won.
Interesting.
On the other hand, would you like to know what their most won map is? See if you can take a guess.
Their worst map?
Their most won map, their highest win rate map.
For SPT or RPG? No, sorry.
For SPT.
This phase, I would say Battlefield.
That is incorrect. It is Brax's Holdout with 1 game, 1 win.
Oh, I didn't consider sample size.
Yeah, no. Battlefield and Tomb are tied 2nd highest with 67%. Dragonshire, their old stomping ground, 50%.
So that speaks a lot for the other teams catching up on SPT. First of all, they're not really able to hold their flawless record on Dragonshire, but also the other teams seem to have figured out how they play there and how to best counter it. But, oh man, that Brexis game, you brought me back to good memories. That happened last week, and it was glorious against Sunnyline. It almost backfired, but yeah.
Sylvanas pre-change.
Exactly.
Coming in there, and they're feeding bot for a bit.
I tried to use Sylvanas yesterday, and boy, has it gotten hard to really go for these pushes anymore.
Oh, I find it. It's still fine. Personally.
It's still okay if you only block like 1 tower and your team basically avoids getting hit by the other one.
I wouldn't mind an ever so slight more damage buff to feel more impactful in terms of that stuff, or even a range boost, but that would seem really unfair. I think Sylvanas is already super hard to get to. So yeah, Sylvanas is in an okay place. It's going to take a tiny tweak to put into potential pick territory. Too much and she'll be OP, in my opinion. That's where Sylvanas currently sits.
Yeah, Sylvanas remains a situational pick at best. But Varian here actually sneaking back into the draft for RPG. And that is really cool, because we now have a double taunt front line for RPG. And not only are they good at locking people down, obviously, with double taunt, but also they're quite hard to take down, with Varian potentially going for shield wall level 10, Garrosh being a tanky target in the first place anyways. And even, you know what, Tetcher, I'm not going to go crazy on this, but this could be the much-awaited return of damage Varian. We've tried to find a justification for it multiple times, but this, I really think, could be the time for it.
Which one?
It depends on how much CC the enemy team has. Oh, never mind, I'll take that back. With Arthas being there already, with Tracer being there in Medivh, I think it's going to be a taunt. To basically shut down the Tracer, shut down Medivh, and punish them with CC rather than damage, so...
If it wasn't for the Tracer, I would kind of lean with you towards a Colossus Smash.
Yes.
But because Tracer is here, because Medivh is here, especially because Arthas is here, this has to be a taunt.
Exactly. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't go taunt here now. Arthas, let's say if he wanted to go for Twin Blade or Colossus Smash, Arthas would punish that one so hard by slowing Varian down. And it's already hard for Varian to stick to a target if he doesn't go taunt, right? And then there's the Medivh blocking all the damage from a Colossal Burst. Arthas is going to mess with Twin Blades, who's more sustaining, so yeah, should be a taunt. And combined, you know, with the minigun from Tychus, I think if they manage to lock someone down with the Zeratul in the mix as well, that could be a frightening amount of burst damage.
I don't know enough about Dragoon Anatomy. Is that the appropriate slice of Phoenix that they have used in his band portrait there? I don't exactly know where the eye would be. I assumed it was where the gun was at the top.
Yeah, looks like they focused on the wrong body part there.
I don't know enough to break it down and say, oh no, that's the heating vent or something like that.
Yeah. We also had a really funky one for Maiev for a short period of time where they were using some weird 3D model instead of the actual portrait. So sometimes the new heroes are a little bit shy, you know, they're taking a little longer to really look good on picture.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I still don't know if we have Alex Grass's portrait fixed. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into game number 1. On the left is RPG with Chicken on Tychus, MJ on Uther, Sar on Zeratul, C on Varian, and Timeless on Garrosh.
And their opponents coming into this best of 2 as the big favorites here. It is going to be the super perfect team in the red colors with Molly on that Medivh. We have Melody C on Tracer, Arthas being played by Misaka, Blaze being played by Soap, and CZH on the support role on Malfurion. So already we can make out a trend here, in my opinion. Over the last few playdays, SPT has oftentimes had Molly pick up the supporting DPS, if you will, like Zarya or Medivh right now. And it has been Melody C who had gone for the main ranged assassin role for many days in a row now. So let's see if Molly continues to be the supporting off assassin, or if he's actually just, you know, being the flex player up to this point. Because if he truly becomes the flex and not the main assassin anymore, that could also lead to his team realizing, you know what, Molly, you need a little bit more time. We're going to trust Melody C on that one. And look at that clean protection here from Medivh. Doesn't even need to use the recall. That's how safe SPT was to get Tracer out of the sticky situation.
Mr. Kendrick, I think you have baited yourself here. High King's Quest coming in for Varian here. You have accidentally done play for yourself. Nice teleport just out of the grenade range. Melody C able to survive in this stage.
Tetra, I've seen many variants go High King's Quest despite the fact that they didn't want to go Colossus Smash or Twin Blades. While I do not agree with this choice at all, I think the other talents are better if you intend to going Taunt. It could still lean towards some serious damage amplification here if he completes it, right? You have stronger single target DPS all across the board if you manage to get enough globes, to get enough auto attacks in against enemy heroes, and of course to get enough takedowns all together. And if all three components are met, then you get a massive damage boost with the major quest completed. And that could cause some problems with Tracer altogether. Like, if you taunt Tracer and you slam her with your mighty sword with maximum single target damage, Tracer could actually start sweating a little bit. But once again, I do not agree with this choice. I think both Lion's Maw and Overpower are a little bit better if you go taunt.
Timeless getting rooted, but surviving for the moment. Follow up root as well. And Sai even drops a little bit of damage on the way out, but Timeless unable to land the next Groundbreaker, and as such, pull back. SPT stealing the camp and picking up the kill on Tigers.
Yeah, that was a strong invasion here from SPT, basically using their superior pre-level 4 team fighting, right? Varian was nowhere to be found. Even if he had joined, he didn't have his level 4 talent available. And as such, with Timeless already dropping low and his support capabilities for Uther being limited, that was an easy steal. And Arthas in general is just such a good hero when it comes to invading mercenary camps. On Towers of Doom, on Sky Temple, he offers so much in those narrow choke points. Getting massive slows, both movement speed slow and attack speed slow going. So that was a really well executed gank and invasion by SPT. Oh no. What are we seeing here?
Blade
RPG
Varian coming in. I am excited.
Oh.
So wait, who's playing Varian? Is this C?
Yeah.
C, usually the tank player for the team. Bringing out the Twin Blade Varian.
Oh my goodness.
Against SPT.
Against
if SPT
Medivh protection.
This is going to be the most demoralizing game.
Against attack speed slows by Arthas. This is a very bold move, I'm not going to lie. While it could work out, maybe we're just on the completely wrong train here. Maybe we're greatly underestimating the power of the Wind Blades. But I think the circumstances under which C was picking it into are very unfortunate. Very hard to make work.
It's very strange and very weird. No taunt for the Tracer. Finally starting to do the damage. Little bits being dropped here and there. Nice for Bro. Standing in the pulse bomb. A little bit of damage from that AoE.
All right. And already you can see that the Varian doesn't seem to be able to get the grip up to this point here. Of course, he needs to wait for level 7, right? Only at level 7 will he gain access to Second Wind, which is the primary source of his self-sustain. Up to this point, he needs to rely on Uther. And although, you know, C is looking a little harmless at the moment, the team itself, as a 4-man unit, manages to establish control over this top temple. Here comes Arthas, so that is the big flanker that they were looking for.
Very nice throw by Timeless, giving himself a little bit of freedom, but the root from Malfurion and the charge by Soap, just too good. And down he goes. That is only the second kill of the game so far for SPT, but the shots continue to fly onto the structures. RPG actually still the last few shots from top lane, so not bad there.
On the flip side, we see SPT stealing the middle shots here. And Sa is in trouble, right? Misaka was already running parallel. Here comes the portal. You can't run. You can out-juke.
Okay, they finally get it. ZZH on point there, but that was very nearly absolutely outplayed.
I was going to say, you can't outrun a portal, but you can maybe out-juke. Here goes a kill against Soap. The port is shooting at the minions, but yeah, Blaze was too deep in there, so they trade a kill for a kill. Although the game is getting a little frantic and a little chaotic up to this point, RPG is doing pretty well at holding up here, right? But they have yet to shut down Melody C, who's getting protected by Medivh all the time to this point.
Nice throw. C being delivered to ZZH, but Portal, and doesn't even need it. Doesn't even need it. The Portal is enough for the dissuading here. I am, like, this Twin Blade, who's it going to hit? It has to be Blaze to gain any kind of value at all.
Quite frankly, it's terrible. Like, not only can you not chase someone down because of portals and protection, but also you're going to have a tough time facing anyone when Misaka on that Arthas is nearby. Zeratul, in the meantime, getting caught once more. Looks like it's just one of those wonky games, wonky first games of RPG where they maybe lure their opponents into a false sense of security and then strike back in game number 2. But up to this point, it looks like it's going to be a tough nut for them to crack with that Varian. But, you know, never say never. Maybe we're going to see some good Varian moves later on if he finds someone in a one-on-one situation. In the meantime, though, Chicken is getting caught, gets saved by Uther. Nice toss by Garrosh as well.
With Garrosh still alive for now, he's actually just right now. The biggest issue Garrosh has been having is the slows from Blaze, which is quite amusing to see, but makes a lot of sense. SPT very sensibly going for the boss here. They have level 10, and they know that Varian could easily work through
and
this
they see
boss
2 members on the
with
top.
a minimal amount of help later on his own.
Yeah, they also see 2 members on the top. Zeratul and Tyke is pushing the top board because RPG realizes, you know what, there's no way on earth we can contest this boss from happening right without taking significant losses. So they don't even try. They try to get level 10 themselves and then defend. And that is, of course, the smart decision to make there as well, because let's face it, in the early game stage, those bosses won't even hit that hard. So in the meantime, in trouble, uses his movement speed, level 1, and gets to safety. Nice one.
I can't believe he lived that. That was just that was C mispositioning himself on the other side of the bunker there.
Yeah, they could have definitely gotten more out of this, I agree. As such, the bunker has been used, and it has been put to great use. And guess what? Because of the lower cooldown, or low cooldown, it'll be ready for the next major fight, which should happen anytime soon because we have the second temple now available. And of course, with the boss and the mercenary camp still pushing in the bottom lane, this could be a heavy blow for RPG. Can they invade, or do they want to deal with defending first?
Looks like they're going to ignore the boss and prepare to defend. Moving in, Zeratul is on the way as well. This could be an ambitious raid, but they are on even talents. It's probably their best chance. Arthur's being thrown away, so the focus can be put on Melody. No shield to block these pulse bombs. It is purely the Juggernaut hit, purely the Warbringer here as they turn it round. Arthur's wrapping around from the side, focusing on the soap though. They're trying to ignore Arthur as much as possible. MJ, clutch Divine Shield before he dies. Heals.
Oh, saw huge damage.
Void Prism.
Yeah, just putting the fight on the break.
They turn it back round. Chicken gets detonated. C is surviving.
Gets one, gets two.
Counter killer around the back. C turning it round, fighting Melody. C but inflicts too much. The kiting capabilities now goes timeless, and SPT take a 5 for 2.
Utter mayhem here. Absolutely balls bananas crazy. That fight in the bottom lane escalated so hard. None of the teams was willing to back down, and for good reason, right? They were in equal talents. They wouldn't want to let go, especially RPG, if they wanted to make a comeback happen here with more structural damage being dealt to them. And here we take another look at that. Look at C, by the way, holding the front line, refusing to die, dashing to an ally here with Warbringer at level 10, of course, and Chicken actually dealing tremendous amounts of damage here as well.
You can see Zeratul putting huge amounts of pressure onto Medivh. A lovely Void Prism, but potentially less than ideal. Yes, you heal up Timeless. Timeless is going to be a lot healthier here, but you don't heal up Chicken, one of your main damage dealers, because he was caught in the Void Prism as well. Could have been better maybe leaving some of the heroes out and isolating them instead of just pausing the fight. Yeah,
and C actually getting pretty respectable value on that Twin Blade variant. I think he would, well, I thought he would fall much more quickly, but as you said, the VP I think could have been placed a little bit more to the left, because then you could have isolated the team of SPT a little bit more significantly, with also C still being outside to wreak havoc in the enemy team's lines. For now, though, 13 against 12. This is SPT's moment to shine. They have the talent lead. Chicken explodes mid-air. Timeless's toss is not enough to save him this time.
C in full retreat, charging on to C. They're targeting him down. There's that Warbringer dashing to an ally, though. Divine Shield used. I'm not even sure that was necessary, but at least C is alive.
Yeah, that looks mighty rough for RPG right now. One team member is still down. Zeratul soaking in the bottom lane because they need that 13 so badly. Is Sa now teleporting back? Because I think if he doesn't, then that keep might be in some jeopardy.
And Timeless getting focused. The armor from Uther combined with his own. He survives here, as does MJ, pulling back. Uther armor value so far, but here comes the focus onto Chicken. Once again, he also lives. Nice Void Prism. What can they do? Here's the Odin. This is probably their best chance. They got everyone in this. The immediate turn on, looking for Misaka as the target, as C is getting completely isolated in the background. He needs to hit something to gain his health regen, but he got so isolated there as they move in, trying to at least kill Misaka, make it a 1-for-1. No, they can't do it. There's the portal, and everyone is gone. Wow. That was a disaster for RPG. On the bright side, they did save their keep.
Wow. That was a clutch defense here. Once again, RPG proving to us why they're so resilient, why they refuse to go down. But yeah, still, the damage has been done. Look at that top keep. It's still sitting at, I don't know, 10% health. That should be an easy takedown, especially if there's ever another top temple to be activated, right? So Soap, up to this point, holding the middle. The portal, as a preemptive measure, had already been cast. But RPG, they're testing this, and they're claiming this one right now. But look at SPT. They realize, you know what, we don't even need to fight anymore. We can just soak the 16 in the meantime, and then secure the bottom in there as well. And once we're 16, we're going to strike back. We're going to fight RPG with their 14. So yeah, strong moves, smart moves by SPT, and they realize, you know what? The only way we could possibly lose this if we gave RPG a couple of kills where we don't need to.
And RPG are looking for set kills. They want to try and pick this up. They're looking for Misaka this time, but Portal value the Force of Will as well. They're turning back in. Another Force of Will is dropped. And Arthas is just absolutely dominating this. Moving into the bunker as well to keep himself alive. Down goes Varian already. This Windblades is not, as we see them turning around. A nice Void Prison, but Zeratul still drops. Tracer able to keep the pressure on. Timeless will likely fall to Misaka with Final Hoop. Nope, nice heal there. Timeless still in full retreat, turning it round. Throwing Arthas, but slow down. Roots him down, and Timeless will drop. Full team wipe by SPT.
Full team wipe, and this is, of course, the moment that Arthas wants. These moments Arthas dies for, right? He wants to be in a choke point. He wants as many enemy heroes surrounding him as possible, so they will all get slowed, they will all have their attack speed lowered, and yeah, you could really see how helpless RPG felt in those moments. They have no disengage. The VPs up to this point are actually more counterproductive than I think they are beneficial. They're oftentimes just slowing things down, just delaying the inevitable here. And also, Tetcher, pay attention to Melody C on that Tracer. He's unstoppable. He can't be touched, right? He didn't even go for the level 4 talent, but still, there's nothing to shut him down except the Warlord's Challenge. And as long as he avoids that, there's just nothing Tracer has to fear without, you know, the additional taunt coming in from Varian.
With everyone avoiding the
beautiful zoning here.
boss area. Thanks to Misaka's zoning, this will be an easy
boss. So close.
As they just run away. Misaka just zoned that beautifully.
Landing a 3-man Howling Blast to keep the enemy team at bay, who were already so eager to look for a fight, realizing, you know what, this is basically all in or nothing at this point. The enemy team is 16. If they go with this boss, or maybe even just a temple, they're definitely going to ruin our entire base. But they try to make that flank happen. Misaka gets the shield, though. Here comes Blaze with a bunker.
Bunker right now just sort of being used for zoning. Blaze finally pops out of it.
Yeah.
Can they turn it on? No, they can't. This would be super risky anyway with Zeratul dead, and as you can see, they're timeless. Super zoned out. It's another 2 kills picked up by SPT.
In those moments, what are you going to do as a Varian who went for Twin Blades? You can't squeeze your way through because Arthas and the bunker are always going to block your path. You can't really go for flanks because otherwise SPT will go for the fight immediately the moment you take a little bit longer to really find another angle. So as such, you know, the game's probably going to be over here. SPT takes the core and takes the series in a 1-0 lead. Of course, we have to see the second game there as well, but already we can say that RPG's experiment with the Windblades unfortunately didn't come to fruition this time. We kind of were skeptical in the draft, and I'm glad to say that we were rightfully skeptical. They will have to think of something else. Varian is good at the moment, but Twin Blade still remains a dream.
Yeah, the Prophet Kendrick, he predicted some kind